So I guess my big question first is, do you remember the first piece you sold and how much you sold it for?
I remember the first piece I sold, but I also remember the first important piece I sold.
Okay.
So, I mean, so people ask, when did it become possible, right? When did I realize that art was a business? So the first piece I sold ever was a 16 by 24 piece from Kukani Loco in Hawaii. And it's a very special place. I actually have it. I just got a check today because another editorial magazine in Hawaii it wants to publish the photo as the cover. But Kukani Loco was the first piece of art that I sold, and then some like little turtles. But I was doing an art show in Hawaii for Christmas, and I realized that the people who would pay me for my art could pay more for my art, and the people who wouldn't pay me for my art wouldn't pay me or wouldn't buy the art if I cut the price in half. So I'm like, why am I pricing stuff in this gray middle area and all of these people won't buy it, and all of these people who would buy it barely notice it and or could spend more. So if I'm only going to get 10 sales a year, or 10 at that time, 10 sales a year, then why don't I make more of those sales? So I was at the art show. It was the second day. I said, I have this piece called Eternity Beach, the first version of it. And it was on the wall. It was like a metal print for $800. I said, screw it, I'm going to make it $1,600. And it sold the next day. And then I was like, well, okay, I probably should have charged $3,000 for it. And I could have. It's the starting price for Eternity Beach right now is $3,000.
I see a lot of similarities in that with marketing for course material too, is that, sometimes if someone's willing to pay $49 for something, they'd probably be willing to spend $99 for something as long as the solution is provided. So it's similar in that if someone's willing to pay, $800 for something, they'd be willing to pay $1,600 for something because of the solution that it provides or or what that piece does for them, right? Because they don't want to part with it. They want to grab that.
Right. For sure.
That's interesting.
And there's another thing about price, which, this isn't your question, but price is marketing. So the person who sees a $49 tool as attractive is a different person than the person who sees the $99 as attractive sometimes. And then you get a different clientele. Like the people who I used to sell $200 prints to would ask me for discounts. They would ask me for extra whatever, or they would ask me for 1,000 different questions that doesn't really apply to what they're buying. And the people who will pay $5,000 say, here's your money, thank you.
You would think that the person that's paying $5,000 would want the discount, but it's good to know for a lot of the people that are in here too, as they're thinking about pricing stuff. So I'm glad you threw the pricing question in there. So what you just watched was a snippet from an interview that I did with Jason Matias. If you're interested in seeing more from this interview, go ahead and click this playlist right here. If you're interested in the art of selling art, Jason's flagship education for teaching artists how to sell their work, go ahead and click here. And I would also encourage you to consider subscribing to myself and Jason Matias. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.